Welcome, everyone, to the Football Officials Educational Video for the 2025 season. As week one is complete, we have some great plays this week to take a look at. Please feel free to hit the share button, hit the like button, comment if you wish. Remember, these educational video series are for us to learn from so that we can get better on the football field as officials. All right, let's get into our plays for week one. First play this week is a kickoff. Exactly what we start the game off with. So on this kickoff, it's going to be deep down the middle, around about the 5-yard line. But our focus is going to be right here on the two players I have highlighted. These two players are going to come together, and you can see right there a takedown by the receiving team player. And then the umpire does a good job of officiating his area and getting the marker down to get this foul. So we come back and take a closer look. So our line judge is here at the bottom of the screen coming down the field, and our umpire and our association is down at the 20 looking up the field. You can see right now we want to focus on areas of engagement or where two opponents are coming together. Right here I've highlighted the two areas in the line judge umpire section of the field on a kickoff where we have engagement or potential for engagement. As you can see, no other area did we really have players close enough to have that engagement. So these are the two areas we need to focus on. So the umpire does a good job of watching this block. And as you see, you can see the player on the receiving team grab the back, basically bear hugging the player and pulling that player to the ground. We will always want to get takedowns, especially on kickoffs. We want to get takedowns because this is out in the open. It's clearly a takedown, which is clearly a hold. We always want to be looking for and putting the marker down when we have a takedown on the field, especially on a kickoff, because you can see how open it is and how it looks. This is a good job here by the umpire, staying in his area and watching that block. Okay, we're going to talk about our association's mechanics and what the National Federation of High School Football Officials Mechanics Manual says. The arrow's pointing for the back judge there, right, who's on the 40, the K's kicking line. And the back judge, after the kick occurs and the players go by, the back judge is going to work their way onto the field near the hash mark so it can officiate from inside the field out. That's the mechanics per the manual. Down here on our 35-yard line, we're going to see our head linesman. Now, the mechanics manual says it should be at the 30. And I think on this play, as you see this play develop, it may have been a better position to potentially be at the 30. Yes, we can adjust when needed on kicking plays, but it may have been a better position to see what happens on this play because we're going to have another situation where we have a hold right here. These two players, and you're going to see how this player right around the 35 basically does a double leg takedown and brings him down. Our back judge does a good job here seeing this foul, officiating their area, and getting the marker down to get the hold and a takedown. Good job. Like I said, we always want to get these takedowns, especially on these kickoffs. You can see right here, he clearly, the receiving team player basically wraps up around his legs and brings him down. A takedown at any point in time, we want to get those takedowns. And it looks good when we get the takedown and get the marker down in the field, especially on these kicking plays. We want to get these types of fouls and get them penalized appropriately. Good job here by the officiating crew in getting them. Our focus in a second here will be on the snapper. But first, I want to make a point here on this particular formation. So this is the extra point attempt. They've scored a touchdown, team in blue, and they're going for an extra point. Because they are not in a scrimmage kick formation, which on this play defined would be a holder with a knee on the ground, about 7 yards behind the snapper, and then another player 2 to 3 yards in position to kick the ball from the holder. Because of that, they're not in a scrimmage kick formation, so they cannot use the numbering exception, which means on this formation, the offense must have 5 players, 50 through 79, on the line of scrimmage. because they are not in a scrimmage kick formation. If they do not have 5 players, 50 through 79, then they stay in this formation. It is a foul at the snap, and we need to have a penalty marker on the ground for that foul for an illegal formation because they are not permitted to use the numbering exception unless they are in a scrimmage kick formation, which this is not. Keep that in mind before we talk about the snap on this play. Here we go to focus on the snap of the snapper. Now, this will probably catch you off guard unless you're ready and prepared for this, the snapper's action. We're going to slow this down because it happens so quickly. So, by Rule 7, it states a snap shall be such that the ball immediately leaves the hand or hands of the snapper. Look at this play as we slow it down. You can see the snapper lift the ball and then sidearm the ball back to the back. That is not a legal snap. We should have a marker on the ground, but like I said, it will probably catch you off guard when it happens. So, in the future, be ready for this. He has to snap the ball and it has to immediately leave his hands. In this case, he picks the ball up almost to shoulder height, and then he throws it backwards, kind of a sidearm motion. That is an illegal snap infraction. We need to have a marker, shut the play down. Next play, we're going to talk about wing officials, your mechanics. 5-person crew here. Head linesman, line judge. We're looking at the line judge. We're going to have a play come to the line judge side of the field. Number 4 is going to catch the pass and is going to go out of bounds in the opponent's team box area. Great job here by the line judge coming down to the spot, stopping the clock. But to make this better, to be a good dead ball official, which makes you a better official, we've got to turn line judge. We got to put our back to the field. We got to get our eyes down there on number 4 because he's basically in what we would call enemy territory. He's in the opponent's team box area. So we got to turn. If we need to, we can put a beanbag down at the spot and go down and get that player out because this can turn bad. This can turn, take a left turn real quickly if we don't get that player out of there sometimes. And we want to have eyes on it in case anything happens down in this team box area. So, line judges, turn out. Now, I love the fact that our back judge is coming over here, closing down, doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Because if you look down there in the corner at number 4 from the opposing team, he's over there giving that point, first down or whatever he's doing. That can cause a problem. And we want to get in there and get him out of there because he, again, is in that opponent's team box area. And this can take a wrong turn quickly. Now, as we look here, it looks like the back judge is coming up to him to talk to him about that. I'm going to think so. Great job, back judge. Come in there, get it, clean it up, tell him about it. Line judge, turn out and see that. On this play, our focus will be on the wideout I've highlighted on the line judge side of the field. He's going to come down the field and right around the 48-yard line, he's going to commit a hold on number 3 where he grabs his right shoulder in his jersey. We're going to see penalty markers down from the line judge, umpire, and back judge. 3 flags. So as we continue the play, and we continue right after the play immediately in the dead ball period, we look and we see the umpire giving the holding signal to the sideline, to the head coach. We need to slow down here and stop before we do this. The first thing we need to do is continue to officiate this play to its end, to include the dead ball period and ensure all play is over. Then, the 3 officials who have placed a penalty marker on the field need to come together and discuss and communicate prior to us communicating information to the coach to ensure that we relay correct and accurate information to the coach. Yes, we want to communicate to the coach, but let's do it in that order. Then once the officials convene, then we provide that information to the referee and proceed from there with communicating to the coach. As we come back to this play, we're going to slow this down and look at the hold. This is, from this view, looks like a great call. You can see the grab of the jersey and the restriction. Couple things. There's definitely a restriction. It's definitely at the point of attack, and it definitely has potential or had potential to impact the defensive player's ability to make the tackle as he gets one arm on the runner. But because of the hold, he is unable to potentially make the tackle. Don't have a problem with the call, and we have 3 flags. This is great officiating right here because it's at the point of attack. It potentially impacts the play. Good job on this. Let's just slow down on these plays before we proceed with penalty signals. One final item on this play where we have a hold. So we have a run that goes beyond the line of scrimmage. The foul occurs beyond the line of scrimmage, and we have 3 penalty markers on the field. One of the first things we want to do is establish the spot of the foul and move our flags all to that yard line so that when we enforce the penalty, it just gives a better appearance that we're enforcing it from the spot of the foul. So when we have 3 flags in 3 different areas, let's bring them together on the same yard line and force the penalty from that same yard line, and it will just look better as we enforce the foul. In this play, we're going to talk about situational awareness or being aware of the down distance and the circumstances. As we can see here on the down marker, we have 4th down, and the front stake or first down marker I have arrowed is the first down. What we have to be aware of is we will be using the stop the clock signal either way after this play, because if the offense obtains a first down, the clock will stop to move the chains. If the offense does not gain the first down, we will have a change of possession, which stops the clock. So either way, at the end of this play, we should be having the officials on the field are giving the stop the clock signal, 2 signals over top of their head. As we can see right here, this is about where we see the forward progress potentially stop with about 105 on the clock. Now we're going to see the clock run down to 101, an additional 4 seconds. But we still do not see any official on the field giving the indication to stop the clock. We need to be aware of this and give that signal so that we can get the clock stopped appropriately and by rule. Our next play here, we're going to talk about the legal, illegal forward pass, or in this case, the exception to intentional grounding or intentional grounding. So we can see our quarterback. He's going to be our passer. He's going to possess the ball throughout the play. So that part of the rule is legal. We also see the line I've drawn here. Now realize we're at an angle from the press box. Ideally, we'd like to be behind this from the end zone. But that line I have drawn is approximately our free blocking zone, which is 4 yards from where our ball is being snapped. So we can see the play here develop, and we can see the ball thrown, an incomplete pass. So let's come back and break this play down again. So we see our line again. So we know by rule that the passer has to possess the ball and get beyond the lateral boundary line of the free blocking zone established at the snap, which is that line approximately that I've drawn. Now, did this passer get outside that lateral boundary line? It's hard to tell on this play exactly, but it is very close if he does. And on close plays like this, I know we don't want to get real nitpicky, so to speak, but was there communication on the field between the officials on this play? Because there are several elements we need to communicate, and this is what we would be a true call because of all the elements. So the referee needs to know if that quarterback is outside that lateral boundary line of the free blocking zone. The next part, and the 2 wing officials do a good job staying on the line of scrimmage to be able to see this, is that ball must reach the neutral zone. And in this case, I think it's right on the neutral zone. So the only way for those 2 wing officials to know that is to be in that position that they're currently in, to be looking down at. That's why it's so important. The other thing here is He's not throwing it to any eligible receiver because our closest player for his teammate is right here, who's an ineligible lineman blocking. So this is where the communication comes in. This is where it's important that we take a situation like this and we communicate. And the referee has to communicate out to his crew whether he has that player outside the lateral boundary line of the free blocking zone or not. And also to know that so that the crew will know what type of feedback they need or information they need to give back to the referee so the referee knows whether we have a foul or not. Because we need to know if the ball reached the neutral zone, and also if he wasn't outside the free blocking zone, lateral boundary line, then we need to communicate back to the referee whether we have an eligible receiver in the area that he threw the ball to. So there's a lot of communication that has to take place on the field for the officials that have relevant information on a play like this to get this play or this call correct. So remember that on the field when you have these situations. Communicate. So week 1, and we already have the new rule applying in a game. Forward fumble out of bounds on this play. Quarterback's going to get the snap. He's going to roll to the line judge side of the field here, and he'll fumble the ball forward and out of bounds, as we'll see in the play. So mechanics, beanbag. So as we get right here, the ball, it's hard to see, but I have it marked in circle. It's blurry. That line judge there would be putting a beanbag down on that spot of the fumble because the quarterback has fumbled the ball. The ball's going forward. It's right there inside the circle, just going out of bounds. So by having that beanbag, we have the spot marked. Right there's our spot. Even though the ball went out of bounds, we're going to get the ball, bring it back, mark it, ready for play. The referee will then wind the clock on this play. That's how the forward fumble works. In this play, I want you to focus on the 45-yard line. Line of scrimmage or our neutral zone. It's going to come into play. We're going to have a snap to the quarterback who's going to drop back the pass and step up to throw the ball. And then we're going to have the line judge put a marker down on the field. So did you catch what the marker was for? Well, let's come back and we'll break this play down and talk about what we have a foul for. So when we look at the rule book under Rule 7, it states that when A throws the ball, they must have both feet of the passer in or behind the neutral zone when the ball is released. Both feet must be in or behind the neutral zone when the ball is released. So we talked about the neutral zone. We can see right here, the quarterback steps up. He's got that left foot beyond the neutral zone. Now it helps us here in this case because we were on the 45, so we have a line all the way across the field. But you can see right here, he's getting ready to release the ball with his left foot beyond the line of scrimmage. He's illegal forward pass because he's beyond the neutral zone with one of his feet. The other part here is our two wing officials, our head linesman and line judge, do a great job staying on the line of scrimmage because this would be a difficult and challenging call if they both drifted downfield. Now, they could be aided by the fact we were on the 45, but if you're not on the 45, this is a difficult and challenging call. So good job by staying on that line of scrimmage and getting this because this would be difficult to get without that. We see the penalty marker on the ground. Good call. Good job by the crew. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to watch week 1's video. We had a lot of good plays this week. I hope these plays are helpful to you in improving your officiating and your mechanics on the field. Thank you, everyone. Please, again, take the time to hit the share, the like button, comment if you wish. Thanks, everyone, and until week 2, have a great week.